Hello, folks. It's Meandering Mike again in the Man Cave of Madness. We are continuing with our game of Maharaja. We have completed 3 turns. We're just about ready to start turn 4. As you can see here, the Marians are spread out all over the place. They moved in and ended up wiping out the Harapans. The Harapans did try to run and hide and get into the mountains of Nepal, but the Marians hunted him down and killed him. The Marians did lose 3 armies to the Harapans, and if you can see there, that focuses right. The Harapans do score points for destroying Marian armies, whether it's the Harapans attacking, they shouldn't, or when they're being attacked by the Marians. So they managed to kill 3 of them before they got wiped out. So they did score 6 victory points. No other victory points have been scored yet. However, I should have been scoring points for this, Raj. There are just a few nations that can score Raj points. Raja is if you control 9 territories at the end of your turn. Maharaja, 18. Diraja, that's actually a Maharaja Diraja is the whole name. You need 27, and the Chakravartin is Emperor. You would need all 36 spaces to get that. So, wow, that's probably not going to happen. However, the Marians should have scored some points there. So I'll have to go back and figure that out. Like right now, they have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So they do have Maharaja on turn 3. I believe they had at the end of turn 1 and 2, 9 or more, but not that many. They didn't spread out that much. They did sort of spread out more here because the Greeks are coming. The Greeks have an invasion. It's not actually a major invasion by the Greeks. It's just an invasion, so the Greeks actually don't get to go twice. That's interesting. For some reason, I thought they did. Did the card say something different? No. So they just wanted to sort of spread out, try to have a lasting influence. The Marians start to disappear, like on turn 6. On turn 5, they can't get any more population increase, and then they start losing units, and then they're replaced by the Guptas at the beginning of turn 6. I think they lose something like 8 armies on turn 5 also. So basically, they're collapsing, and then the Guptas replace them. And then in a few turns later, the Guptas disappear. But we're jumping ahead for that. Yeah, Guptas. They stop increasing population. So they don't necessarily die out, but they do have some removals that happen. Here, if I can find that in the rules real quick. I did want to do a couple of rules clarification. Removals. Marians and Guptas. Yeah, so Guptas. Beginning of turn 8, they lose 8 armies. Beginning of turn 9, another 8 armies. But if they had enough otherwise, they can keep going till the end. They just don't gain any more population. So they could hide out. They do have Guptas 27 max. So they could grow potentially big enough. And then having 16 armies, they could, still have potentially 11 armies hiding out somewhere and survive for a while. But we will see. So rule clarification. Talking about stacking. Stacking, you don't have to enforce it during movement, but at the end of your movement, and it was 3. It is 3. in a clear and 2 in there. I think it said it might have been 3 or 4. It is 3, 2 in Hillens. And again, each nation, not each player, each nation can have 1 stack that violates that, exceeds that limit. And that 1 stack can be unlimited size in the clear or 4 in the Hillens. So, you know, like I mentioned before, the population limit at the end of the turn, you got to have enough territories. Each territory can support up to 2 total population. That's not population growth, but that's maintenance. So if you had 4, 6, 8 armies in 1 territory, and that's all you had, you're going to lose all but 2 of them because the population limit, overpopulation strikes. So that's a rules clarification there. Submission. That was the other rule that I was trying to remember to think about, to talk about. Certain nations can submit when they get their army size reduced to a certain size in a certain region. And it's not all of the countries. Let me flip to it here and find it for a second. Yes, here we go. Submission. Okay, so Sinhalese, which are down in Ceylon, modern day Sri Lanka, also I guess was called Serendib at one point. So if they only have 1 area in Ceylon, they can submit, and they can't be attacked or destroyed. The Sikhs, if they're down to 1 area in North India, Rajputs, 1 or 2 areas in North India, Pandyas, Marathas, and Muslims, 1 or 2 areas in South India, Mughals, they have split. They have north and south. I believe it's 1 in the south and 1 or 2 in the north. No, the other way around. No, that's right. So independently they can do it. Now normally, so like a nation like, say, the Pandyas, they can submit if they have 1 or 2 areas in the south reduced to. Their stuff in the north is not protected, right? So any of these other guys outside of their main area, no benefit. If you submit, the attacker, if you can actually submit in the middle of combat. You can submit as they try to move in. You can say no. You can wait until they attack. You can actually start to fight, and like after any round of combat, you can say, "Oh, I'm losing. I'm in danger of dying." You could then submit. That can be risky because if you allow the combat to happen, you don't submit, and they roll enough hits to totally wipe you out, you'd be gone. In this game, submission only lasts 1 turn, and then you're back active again. You can on your turn, you can still grow, you can still move, you could attack. So it sounds kind of abusable to me. Whereas in Britannia, there's more limitations of, once you submitted, like until, like normally you'd submit to the Romans, and once the Romans are gone, then you're free. But we'll have to see how that plays out here. Some weird things could go on with that. But that's the submission rules. Okay, so I think we also did play one thing wrong. I think when we ended up moving the Cholas and the Pandyas, the Cholas are supposed to move after the Pandyas. The Pandyas are supposed to go first. So I had over here the Pandyas sort of slide this way, and normally the Cholas and the Pandyas would have been here. The Pandyas should have just gone south, and then the Cholas could have done that, but I'm going to ignore that for now and just say that. And the consequence of the overall ebb and flow, it's not going to be a big deal. So we'll let that go. All right. So as you can see, the Cholas and the Pandyas have moved into the interior of the Southland. They're both heading for these areas down here, was where they score more points for. So while they started up there, they migrate down and they're going to try to stay alive. And actually, the Pandyas, knowing that they can submit if they ever get knocked down too small, they get down to 1 or 2, they can say, wait, stop. But all those other nations that are not listed, like the Harapans, which were wiped out, they had no way to submit. They did try to, like I mentioned, hide in Nepal for a while, but the Marians were aggressive and decided they wanted to wipe them out. All right, so now that's been 10 minutes of rambling about that and the first 3 turns results. So let's go on and do the 4th turn. The Pandyas are first. The Pandyas have 3 territories that are worth a half each for population growth. So it's 1.5, 2.5. So they don't get another, you know, as you can see, they've already grown. They started with 2, right? So they've grown once so far. And it's at the end of this turn that they are scoring points. So the Pandyas right here want Karnataka or Mysore, Kerala or Malabar. Now, well, the Cholas are there. They could try to go in there and fight 1-on-1, but you know, the Chola defending in the Highlands would only be hit on a 6, and the Pandyas would be killed back on a 5 or 6. So it doesn't seem worth the odds unless you got at least 2 or 3 guys going in there. So they're going to say nope. So they're not actually going to be able to get much of anything here. All right, Karnataka. So Kerala and Malabar. So since they actually have to stop, they really aren't going to get much of nothing. But something's better than nothing. Grow, stay alive. It's a long game. Score points over time. Get some revenge later, maybe on the Cholas. You know, if the Cholas take over that open stuff, then maybe jump on them, attack them. Then, so that's it for the Pandyas. So the Greeks, 6 Greeks led by Alexander, showing up in Afghanistan. All right. So there they are. Here's Alexander. I do not know why they use the turban. I mean, that's silly. They should have used appropriate headdress for the particular nation. I mean, it's the same thing. They got them for the French and the British. There's the British leader Clive, you know. Yeah. Okay, anyway. That's cosmetic. That's not a really big difference. Okay, so again, I am surprised it's not a major invasion by the Greeks. What does it say? At the end of the Greek turn, Greeks count victory points and then remove Alexander and 2 armies. So the Greeks are also green. So at any time during the turn, so this is at the end of their turn, Baluchistan, Gandhara, Punjab, and Sindh for occupying at the end of turn 4, Gandhara for 2. So that's definitely that one away up there. Yeah, they'll take that. The Marians, they left it. They were like, you know, well, Alexander's got a leader, so he gets a bonus. In each other area in North India. So, yeah, like no reason to try to push, like, in, because technically they could come on and over, and they could go one with the leader. They could go 1 here, leave 2 guys there, and like push into, what is that, Ladakh? That font, like I said. But yeah, there's no incentive to do that. So obviously, Gandhara, Baluchistan, Punjab, and Sindh. So we're gonna fight in. Now we might want to think about this. They might try to fight us back. We might push forward. Baluchistan, Sindh. Boy, if we spread out too much, we're gonna have to lose 2 armies too. At the end of the turn. Hmm. If we take Kashmir, yeah, but we gotta leave at least one unit Gandhar to get the end of the turn points is worth 2. Wow, that's pretty tight. they can't like hold all 5 of these. So they can give it Baluchistan. It's 2 GG. So 4 spread out 5. Yeah, you can't. They can't hold. Right, they can't hold more than 4 provinces because they're gonna have a leader and 2 guys removed. So if they lose nobody, they can have 4 areas held. They can take those 4, and then they can potentially remove the guys from, say, Sindh and Baluchistan, protecting Gandhara more. Okay, so there's the thought process. Doop, bloop, bloop. So wow, yeah. So you're going to lose Alexander anyway. So if we're trying to fight 2 different guys, yeah, we don't want to fight 1-on-1. So we fight 2 against 1 here, and here we have only 1 guy, but he's getting a bonus, a plus. So he will hit on a 4, 5, or 6. That's a tiny advantage. I mean, if he dies, he dies. See, the Marians don't get points for killing anybody right now. Wow, that all seems really silly. Marians will probably retreat. I don't know. Yeah. Why? That seems silly. Surely 1 extra point. Forget about Baluchistan. Well, you know, okay, so here's my question. For occupying at any time during the Greek turn, if you just move through, does that count as occupying? At any time during the turn. See, the way that's phrased. Colonial control prohibited. Encountering. Let's see. Counting occupied territories. That's population increase. No, placing new armies. Winning points. 4 score Raj. Well, how about during the turn? Well, I'm going to make a call, and I'm going to say if they move through, they get the points. I can always remove later. It says at any time during the turn. So I'm entering the empty space, moving through. I'm going to say I've occupied it. So like 1 guy can come here, right? 2 guys here, 1 here, and so that means I can bring 2 guys to here. All right, so he'll get the point for having moved through, having occupied it on the way. That's my ruling. So battle here in Punjab. And again, I'm using black for the attacker and brown. Oh, miss. Yeah, the Marian's going to retreat. He'll spread out a little bit. Delhi. That's already 2 there. Okay. Since the defender retreated, the attacker does not get to the choice to retreat in this game. All right. So now it's going to be the same thing, except we're adding 1 to the black dice. So they actually did a forfeit. Well, they hit anyway. Boom, boom. And they're missed. So that was overkill. There. All right, the Marian has lost that. All righty. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Four points, right, during the turn. Baluchistan, Kandahar, Punjab, Sindh. But we did this to help block that. And then we remove Alexander and that guy at the end of Greek turn, correct. And at the end, you know, victory points, it says all nations, that's at the very end, right? So the normal turn points like this, and that second half we're occupying at the end, that is the total end, and that's one of the advantage of going last. Sometimes I think, I want to go first this turn. I want to, do something. I want to grow some population and hit somebody. So yeah, sometimes going first is good, but in terms of points, so especially on point scoring turns, it's better to go last. Alrighty, so that was the Greeks. The Greeks did not get any population growth because they started in the foreign areas. They started in Afghanistan. So, Cholas. Cholas are the next one that are active and on. They're only in 2 areas. They get 1 population growth. They are going to grab as many points as they can. Karnataka and Mysore, Andhra and Golconda. Mysore, Karnataka. Now, if they go and they take, that's up here, Andhra, Golconda, there. So potentially, they can be hit coming around that way. But, yeah. Not this turn, right? The Pandyas have already moved. The Sinhalese are showing up. When did the Sinhalese move? Right there, after the Harpans, who were gone. When it was after the Marians. So the Sinhalese could elect to attack across. That's a strait. In Britannia, there's a number of straits. There's only one here. And you can attack across. The difference is you can only move across if you started next to it. You can't go from like here and go 1, 2 for your move. You have to start next to it. All right. Well, let's see. We'll have to see. It's like, do they want to do that? Or say, oh, let's try to get more points overall. There's only 1. It's 3 for Karnataka. But actually can't reach because this guy was up here. We were here. Are we? Oh boy, I can't remember. Were we 2 and 1? I think we were 2 and 1, not spread out. So we could come here. Would the Sinhalese risk attacking there? I don't know. They might. That's 3 points. It's 3 times as much there. I think go for, try to defend the more points. Assume someone's going to maybe be greedy. Try to deter them. All right. So that's the Chola's turn. They're not attacking. They're just doing that. The Marians. All right. So the Marians have a ton of armies on the board. They're going to reach their limit, right? So here's their 1 overstack, right? We talked about overstacks. That's actually, yeah, the Harpans had gotten into Nepal and had moved to Bhutan, and this is where actually they tracked them down on turn 3 and killed off the last guy. So they went in with 4. They actually lost 1 there. They lost 2 earlier and 1 there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? Orion's 27. I must have miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Right after 6. I seem to be missing one. I'm either miscounting or I've already misplaced one dude. How many times can I miscount? Right? Okay, let's count 3 here in Southern, 5 here in the Himalayas. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay. So they've got, enough to grow these 2 easily and max out, because you can't have more than 2.5. So that's 3, 6. They had 1. Yeah, I mean, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so they get their 2 armies. Now, when you grow, you also cannot exceed the stacking limit. So, like, since I have an excess here of the normal max 2, I couldn't. Well, it can be 3. I couldn't put both of them in one place. In fact, you can only put 1 in a spot and 1 in another spot. You have to spread them out. You can't go back to the original place that you grew in. So Marian's turn 4. They're already over here. These are the ones that they scored the big points for right here. That's why they migrated this far over. Boy, the Greeks were a lot wimpier and less. I think maybe they want to be mean and knock around some Greeks. Sounds like fun to me. Yeah. So, yeah. We're going to want to flow this way. So if we assume we are 1, 2, 1, 2, that lets me move 1 out of here. All right. Yeah, this is not gonna. I'm gonna lose track of who moved where. I suppose I could use like orienting which way they are after they've moved or something. I'm going to be like hyper aggressive. Well, let's see. These guys could keep moving south. To try to box the southern dudes in. Each other area, no matter what. Yeah, so they don't care whether it's northern or south or whatever. So I don't know where other guys might pop in, who's coming up next. I mean, should you really know that? Not really. Maybe there's, some signs or portents that something's stern and coming from a certain direction. That would be. But in that sense, this game is somewhat scripted. It's a flow history game, and things are coming in. But you have total choice of what you want to do with your units, right? You don't have to focus on these victory conditions. Now, if you want to win, You know, maybe you need to. Maybe not. Maybe you get so big and you wipe everyone out and you become the great chakra emperor. I don't know. But basically, you in general want to find the guidelines of the history that you wouldn't know. But, you know, they're saying there's a reason why these countries, you know, tended to settle in certain areas. Let's give them more points for that so that you do somewhat sensible actions. There's only 2 there. That's good enough. 3, because remember, you got 3 in a clear, 2. We're going to keep these defended. All right, let's do that. So let's start with this one here. Sind. Boom, boom, boom. 1 hit. The Greeks are... They're not going to get completely slaughtered because we didn't go all the way. We didn't want to, you know, spread out too much and throw too much that way. All right, so this is Punjab. Oh, hit, cross each other. Now, the Marian doesn't mind taking hits too much because he can grow it all back, but not for long. Turn 5, no population increase. This is his last population increase. Turn 4, yeah, that max out there. So yeah, actually good he's not being too risky. Like coming down in here, and if he had like could have reached and hit these guys, that would have been a bad idea. Oh, do you know actually? I forgot this here. They've got a leader. Oh well. I'm gonna put him right there. I'm gonna assume. I mean, you could, you know, have moved him and put him down here, somewhere like defense, like if they try to attack back, you know, because he lasts. Not removed until the beginning of the next turn. But I forgot him. We'll put him here. So now we're adding 1s to their hits. Well, they hit anyway. Oh, but they also got hit. So they lost 2. Now the Greeks, you know, don't get any points for destroying anybody. It's actually, in this game, it's pretty rare. Some countries do. The Rajputs. They like to turn to Guptas and Muslims and certain leaders. So, of course, I say that. It's rare in the bottom right there. All right. So, the Greeks are almost completely wiped out. I have no idea how long. If you haven't seen the movie The Man Who Would Be King, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, definitely do so. No spoilers, but just do it. All right, so that was the Marians on turn 4. No Harpins are dead. Sinhalese, yes, they are the newcomer. 3 armies at Lanka. Well, I'll tell you, their points, 2 for Lanka, 1 for Simhala. Yeah. I think the better part is these guys might start fighting each other, right? And then you have an opportunity to move in. So, you know, they can grow up to 4. If they're just sitting here with two dudes, two territories. Their max population is 4. It's going to take them, you know. No, they start here. So I think they get their population growth that turn. I think they arrive there at the beginning. So they would actually get 1. And then they would move a guy here. Yeah. they'll take it easy. All right, so Sinhalese Sikhs, Rajputs, Guptas, Muslims, Mughals. Yeah, no, they were the end. Because Harpin's gone. So then we'll score points here. Wow, 35 minutes. All right, so a quick look at the points that people are getting. The Greeks, they have their Gandhar. They're gonna get two. I don't have my notepad here, so I'll have to remember this. The Pandyas, they have Malabar. They're gonna get one. So green is not getting a lot of points yet. The thing is, it's a long game, and they're gonna get the Mughals. Portuguese aren't really powerful. In fact, the Portuguese seem underpowered. I believe is it the Portuguese or Dutch? One of these ones. Yeah, I think it was the Dutch actually. They're supposed to have a 3 max army. Now, someone tell me. I mean, I've searched for errata. I found some errata on, was it Grognard site or Consum or something? Did not mention this fact, but I am missing. I don't know if there's another spot on here where the Dutch get their third guide. The Portuguese get some guys here, and then they get like 2 here and like 2 more here. So it's like if one died, they can get up to 2 more. But the Dutch seem to only get their 2 and don't seem to have another reinforcement. So I don't know, because again, the European powers do not grow. They do not do population growth. So I have no idea how the Dutch would ever get up to their 3 max. So something must be missing on here, and I don't see any errata for that. So somebody tell me if they were able to find that, or had they house ruled that or something. Yeah, not sure what I'm gonna do about that. We're getting distracted. So the points, we're counting points. The Greeks, the Cholas here. They greedily have Karnataka and Mysore. They're getting their 6 points. They elected not to stay there, but they'll get their 6. Sinhalese are going to get their 3. Of course, the Marians, we skipped the Marians. So the Marians here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20. So they get the Maharaja. They'll get 2 for this turn. And like I said, I'll figure out what they were supposed to get. I think it was 2 on turn 3 and 1 in each of the other 2 turns. So yeah, we'll get all that recorded. There are other points. So Bihar, Magadha, and Orissa are worth 2 each. They have those over here. So that's 6. And each other area. So so maybe they should have spread out a little more. That's the thing. Like, well, I can go for max points, or hey, they decided they wanted to crunch down the Greeks, right? If they didn't crunch down the Greeks, would have grown. If they had still had 3 territories left, they would have grown 1, got another army, and it could be a hassle. So they did lose 2. And they're gonna get reduced here. But so how many was that again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Right. So these 3 scored them points. That leaves 13 other territories. So 6 plus 13 is 19. 19 points. Now, the Marians are going to score a lot of points early, and they're going to kind of disappear. Now, I've heard that it said the yellow is the worst player. They're hard to win. there's the Mauryans. The Mauryans are going to collapse, be replaced by the Guptas. The Guptas eventually collapse. So you got the little Sinhalese that are going to be living on here, and the Dutch, who are weak. And again, I don't know. Do they only get 2 armies, or do they maybe get 3? So you shoot your wad, and then you just hold on with little piddly stuff. So yeah, the Sinhalese better be cautious, or at least they can submit down here and prevent themselves from getting totally wiped out. But yeah, we're gonna call that good as the end of turn 4. Let's see, was it at the beginning, at the end of turn 4, or the removal happened at the 5th turn beginning? Removal. Beginning of turn 5. 6. Beginning of turn. So yeah, they're totally gone. So yeah, one more turn. Turn 5. They'll lose 6 armies. And they'll have one more turn to do stuff. So the fact that there's not more points scored, that's it. They're not going to score any more points. The Guptas will. So it's like, you do as good as you can to keep the Guptas strong as they replace them, and let the Guptas grow back a little bit. So I think like this move here, keeping them guys pinned in, killing them, that's not bad strategy, I think. Is anyone, the Marathas are coming in. They're invading in, and the Rajputs. Oh, it's going to be a busy turn 5. Rajputs in Asia and China. And the Maharajas. So that's coming on. So when do they go? Rajputs. Maharathas were up there. So the Maharathas are actually going to go before. That's interesting. And where are they arriving at? Maharashtra. Wait a minute. Is that a province out here? Where's Maharashtra? Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is something that you need to know, right? These guys are showing up here, and I think they just like kick out the other dudes there. I mean, literally like kill them. Which if I knew that, I wouldn't have gone there, but we'll fudge that, maybe give them a chance to retreat or something. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's say. Oh, there's a stirring, there's a power rising here. Well, we'll keep that border here. Or this would be one of the guys that we'd remove at the beginning of the turn. So something like that. I don't know. The Rajputs are showing up in Central Asia and China. So right there. Remember, that leader's going to be gone. So probably remove guys there. It's not a major, Rajput's major invasion. Oh, exciting. All right, so that's turn 4. Talking a little bit about strategy for turn 5. We're already up to 44 minutes. That's ridiculously long. Let's call it quits here, guys, for the night. Everyone take care and see you next time. Ciao.